Thanks everyone for joining us. The third in a series of 3 presentations about ERISA compliance. Listening to those other ones that are coming up, those sound pretty exciting. I don't know that I'll be doing any of those because I can't remember, but I do certainly have opinions on all of those issues and topics that are coming up. Especially of note is the new DOL requirements for independent contractors that just came down 2-3 weeks ago. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but those are of note in case you haven't been trolling the internet blogs for HR and employment law advice like I do every day, and updates in terms of new laws. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into part 3 here of ERISA compliance. Just a little recap of where we've been. We've talked about what ERISA is. We've talked about why it is. We've talked about why you have to comply. We talked a little bit about compliance and who has to comply. Today we're going to dig into the final compliance aspects of it, and we're also going to talk about why you want to comply because of what the penalties are should you not. Just probably a little bit of review on this. Summary plan descriptions, you are required to produce summary plan descriptions, and you are required to distribute summary plan descriptions. So again, if you have a plan document, the summary plan description theoretically summarizes the plan document in language easily ascertainable by the plan participant. But the thing is, what if you have, multiple plans? You've got a health plan, you've got a dental plan, you got vision, you got long-term disability, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The way the code is written, you theoretically need to have one summary plan description for each benefit plan that you have. And that can be time-consuming. If you want to think about it in terms of trees, there's a lot of dead trees involved in producing those documents just for one participant. These ERISA SPDs are not, 2-pagers generally. I think mine are around 15. I've seen them around 100. And so just thinking about the number and volume of paper, there's a lot of effort and time and ink and manual labor that goes into creating these summary plan documents, summary plan description documents. So and then you got to deliver them to the people, your participants, and remember we talked about that it's your duty, the plan sponsor, to deliver these documents to your participants' employees, not the third-party administrator, unless they have affirmatively told you that they are willing to do that and are going to do that. And it's definitely not the insurance company's responsibility to do that. Again, if you find an insurance company that is willing to produce and distribute your summary plan descriptions for your participants, jump all over it. It is, you're better off probably buying a lottery ticket than finding that the case. And if you don't do it, if you don't have these SPDs, there are penalties and fines for not doing them, and we'll get into that into a little bit. Delivery, it's important to get those right. And we're going to talk about what options you have to make your life a little easier if you have multiple employee health and welfare benefit plans that you have to produce SPDs for. So we're going to talk SPDs versus RAPs versus RAPs. I got to say that 3 times fast. I'm not sure if I could. But because of the issue with noncompliance, I'm going to get into all 3 of these bad boys real quick. So summary plan description, the first one, that's kind of what I've been alluding to in general. In terms of these documents, it's just a generic term that we use, but there's theoretically 3 different types of summary plan descriptions. The first one is one single plan summary plan description. It tells you the benefits of one plan and one plan only. It tells you all that required information, et cetera, et cetera. As a complement to that, or rather an alternative would probably be a better phrase, is there's a wraparound summary plan description. And what that is still a single plan summary plan description. So it would just be medical, or it would just be health, or dental, or, what, insert your benefit there. What it does is it takes that insurance certificate that gets sent out to all your employees, which has a lot of information about how do you make a claim, all these, what if you have a dispute, how do you appeal a denial of a claim. All that fun information is actually contained already inside your insurance document. So if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield, they send out an insurance certificate or a benefit booklet to your employees or participants. And you can basically piggyback off that language instead of having to rehash that within your summary plan description. And what you do is then you create a document that includes the missing information that ERISA wants that the insurance companies do not provide, and you wrap it around that insurance certificate or that benefit booklet. And so I think of it like, I don't know how many of you went to school in the 80s, grade school, and had to wrap your textbooks in old paper bags so that the covers didn't get beat up. But think of it like a dust jacket on a book. And what that does is you wrap that around the book, and that information that you need is in the insurance certificate, but the stuff that you don't have in that insurance certificate, you include that on that dust jacket. So you include the plan sponsor's name, you include the plan sponsor's tax ID number, you include, who to call with questions regarding benefits. That's all stuff that's not included in the insurance certificate, but it is stuff that you can just include pretty quickly with a wraparound, wraparound document. Another thing you can think of is, it's like a folder. The insurance certificate or the benefit documents go inside one of the pockets, and you just have an insert of a couple pieces of paper that describe all those missing DOL and IRS required information that's not included in the insurance certificate from the insurance company. And the DOL has said, that's cool, that's great. In fact, you don't even have to send out the insurance certificate or whatever other benefit document you're referring to in this wraparound document in order for it to be considered one document. So the insurance company can send out one thing and you can send out another thing. They don't have to be distributed at the same time. They don't have to come from the same place. And it's basically a shortcut in terms of creating a compliant summary plan description. You still would have to do one for each and every benefit plan that you do have, but it's not the end of the world, and it makes things a little bit easier than drafting a summary plan description from scratch that includes all the information that you're already getting from your providers in their insurance documents anyways. And then finally, we have a mega wrap plan. It's a wrap of a wrap, if that makes sense, and I'll explain it a little further. So a mega wrap plan takes all your plans, takes your health, your dental, your short-term disability, your vision, your what have you, FSAs, HSAs, whatever plans you have included in your health and welfare benefit offerings to your employees and their beneficiaries. And it creates one giant plan. So instead of having a medical plan and a dental plan and a vision plan, what you then have is you have, a mega plan. And so you have one document that covers everything. It covers, for a summary plan description, it will cover information about the health plan and the dental plan and the summary plan description. And the vision plan, everything. Covers it all. And basically, each one of the insurance providers are going to issue one of those insurance certificates or benefit documents to your participants. And what you're doing then is you're saying, we offer these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18 plans for health and welfare. And what then you do is you wrap that required IRS and DOL information regarding plan sponsor's name, plan sponsor's tax ID number, all those requirements, and you only have to create one document for all these different plans. Each component benefit, such as your health and your vision and your dental, are going to have probably a separate little, not even an entire page in what I draft, little ditty explaining who the healthcare provider is and what their contract number is or benefit document is. And at that point, you can wrap all these, multiple plans into one plan that is called a mega wrap. And a mega wrap, I like to think of it as the Gilbert Brown burger. For those of you who are from Wisconsin and or were Packer fans back in the 90s and early 2000s, Gilbert Brown was a big dude, and he had his own burger at Burger King. At least in Wisconsin he did, and it had everything in it. It was like 2 or 3 patties, bacon, cheese. It was bananas. But it's a big document, a big burger, and just like that, a big mega wrap includes everything in it. But it actually makes things a lot easier for plan sponsors. You don't have to keep track of separate SPDs. You just have to update that one every year. You have to make sure that you're on top of one document, period. It makes things easier in terms of 5,500 filings, which we talked about. So if you have a health plan and a dental plan and a vision plan and short-term disability and whatnot, every plan that has 100 or more participants on the first day of the plan year, you are required to file 5,500. So if you've got 6 of those plans, you get to file 6 5,500s. And 5,500 filings are not amazing. They're not fun. They're not things that people in HR say, you know what, that's awesome. I love 5,500 time. It's July 31st, so things are due today. I love filing 5,500s. In fact, I love filing one for every single plan that I have. I've never heard anybody say that. And I've never heard anybody say, I would rather file 6 instead of 1. Well, if you use a mega wrap where you wrapped all your plans, all your benefits into one singular plan, you only have to file 1 5,500, which makes things a little bit easier on the compliance end. And here I forgot the advanced slide, so that's my fault. This is just a little ditty in terms of what is required in the wrap, what goes around the wrap. The wraparound document is basically right here. All the missing information is included in the wrap, and it saves you time and it saves you money. And this is the information, basically, some of the information that ERISA requires you to provide. So what is the risk in not having an SPD or a wrap or a mega wrap? Well, number one, there is no quote-unquote fine. It's not like the DOL says, show me your SPD, and if you don't have it, there's a fine. It's not quite as simple as that. But what happens is, if you don't have an SPD, you're not able to respond to participant requests. And if you have a participant that requests SPD, you have to give it to them within 30 days. If not, it's a penalty of $110 a day after 30 days each day. And so that keeps compounding. And so if you don't have an SPD and you can't respond within 30 days, you get $110 per day, which can multiply quickly. Number two, if you don't have an SPD, you're going to be subject to benefits lawsuits. And if you don't have benefits laid out in your summary plan description, at that point, you're going to lose any case because you're not going to be able to meet the burden of proof in terms of what you are required to provide or what you have been required to disclose to participants. Number three, DOL audits. If the DOL audits your plan, they're going to say, give me your plan document and your SPD. If you don't have it, you're going to have problems with a DOL audit. In addition, HHS, it will fine you $1,400 for not providing an SPD. The IRS can impose a penalty, and the Department of Labor can also impose civil and criminal penalties for not having a summary plan description. We talked briefly just a little bit ago about 5500s, and we talked about them last week. And for 5500 form failures, you can be subject to penalties up to almost $3,000 each day for not having your 5500 complete or filed. And I mean, $2,600, almost $3,000 a day is a huge chunk of change for not filing your 5500. And so if you have 5 plans and you haven't filed a 5500 for any of those plans that are required, that's almost $15,000 a day in penalties for not having your 5500, which is no jog in the park. So it's important that you do get those 5500s done and that you do get them filed in a timely manner. Now, there are some voluntary correction programs if you don't file and you haven't filed. If you have questions about that, let us know. We can help you out with those. We've helped some people out that have filed those and helped ameliorate their penalties and fines. So let us know if that's an issue. We can help you out with that potentially. And that brings us to just about 20 minutes, which brings us to the end of my time here. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope that you guys have learned something. I hope that this entire series of 3 ERISA webinars has been fruitful for you. Again, if you're a MyHR Counsel client or member, got questions, please submit through our ticketing system through Ask, and we'll do our best to get back to you. And if you have any other questions and you're not a client, just shoot us an email at info@myhrcounsel.com, and we will get back to you. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week.